All right, welcome to Gen X Rated Thursday edition. How we doing, Billy?
Pretty good, pretty good. Made it to the end of the week. The weather's great. And today is the anniversary of the final episode of Seinfeld back in 1998. You believe
Oh
that?
my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow, 1998 seems like forever ago. They all ended up in jail, right?
Yeah. People hated that episode.
Which only made Larry David like it more, apparently.
Oh, yeah, because he repeated the same ending at the end of Curb Your Enthusiasm, remember?
Yeah, yeah, kind of funny. Well, they can't all end like MASH, okay?
Oh, yeah. The theme from MASH.
Yeah, geez.
But, the best ending, the more I look back on it, the ending of The Sopranos really was pretty genius.
I mean, people are still talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Members only. Maybe it was Polly ratted him out.
Yeah, that was a pretty good theory. Could have been Polly.
Christopher's girlfriend's mom.
Yeah,
Possibility.
I mean, a lot of people wanted that guy dead.
Yeah.
And
And as go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, there were a lot of, they put out a lot of breadcrumbs to lead you to believe that that's exactly what happened. Um, and really, if you think about it, like he said, his original ending was Tony being summoned to a meeting, driving through the tunnels, never coming back. It would have been kind of blasé, kind of, I don't know, just dull. This way, man, just blank screen out. Everybody
Okay.
thought their cable went out, but it's it. It's done.
Yeah. And you make up your own ending. And then in hindsight, looking at all the stuff past that, there's a lot of, like you said, breadcrumbs. There's a lot of different ways it could have gone, and you can interpret
Mhm.
it any way you want. Maybe little Carmine was really smart and making all the dominoes fall. Like, who knew?
He might have been the master manipulator. Who would have
Yeah.
thunk it? Or, one of the episodes earlier in the series where, Christopher mentioned 3 o'clock. It's always 3 o'clock when he thought he went to hell.
Yeah.
And he saw his dad, and Tony, if he had been shot, would have been shot from the 3 o'clock position,
Oh.
where Meadow would have been sitting had she been able to parallel park competently, but she wasn't. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty genius. That was a really good ending.
I didn't.
Breaking Bad, or not Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad had a pretty good ending. Better Call Saul had a really good ending. 6 Feet Under, excellent ending.
Yeah, that was really good. Wow, that was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bit ago. Well,
It
all good
was.
stuff. And
We're
the
old.
fact that we're still talking about Sopranos says a lot. And those later episodes, Tony was kind of a jerk and spiraling himself, frankly. I mean, his gambling was terrible.
Oh yeah, he was horrible at that. And yeah, he really was. He was just spiraling is a good word. He was definitely spiraling.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a good transition to where we are today. Kind of
Another guy
spiraling.
that's spiraling and taking the rest of us down with him.
Yeah, absolutely right about that. And obviously, I think they're wrapping up in China, right? I don't know how many hours ahead they are, but it seems like Trump had
Idiot,
his
idiots abroad.
Trump had his dinner and walking some steps and yeah, wow. To contrast the two leaders, it's pretty telling. One of them seems totally out to lunch, um, and the other one seems to have a plan, whether you like it or not. He seems to be in total control, and I don't know that we can compete with that with our leadership.
No, not with what we have. I mean, this guy he's ruthless. He's calculating, he's cold, he's got a plan. Um, and he is way, way smarter than the guy standing to his right.
His right, yeah. Instead, we brought people like this. Uh, Elon was there. Elon's kid was there. Um, I mean, I think Elon does belong at the kids' table, even though his son wasn't there. They
Yeah.
showed some video of him making stupid faces. Tim Cook came over with a thumbs up to get some photos, and he just looked blasted out of his head, to be perfectly frank.
Oh, I'm sure he is. Maybe checking out some of the Asian ketamine.
It
But
came in every room.
it just, these are not serious people. Again and again, we say that. But, when Nixon went to China back in this, what was it, 72? whenever it was a big deal, but he took serious people. You took negotiators, you took diplomats, you had strategic talks about important things. You didn't bring a bunch of CEOs all looking to feather their own nest.
Yeah.
Guy is not representing the United States. He is there for
America first.
ponies.
America first, buddy.
And it looks like he's ready to sell out Taiwan.
That's a given. Well, in fact, she just told him, she just said, don't even bother talking about it. Okay. Tend to your own backyard type of thing. Stay out of our backyard. I think that was pretty pointed.
Mhm.
He was very well rehearsed in what was going to be talked about and what wasn't. I thought he was going to China, Trump, to help with the Iran situation. We are at war. The strait is not open. Things are only getting worse. We're going to talk
Chinese ships are getting through.
Well, yeah, because certain people made deals. Iraq and Pakistan also made deals with Iran so that they could keep going through. We don't necessarily care. Trump is just not somebody who sees the big picture and can't put this together. Again, we'll talk about some of that. He took to China the heads of BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, MasterCard, Visa, Cisco, Meta, Apple. Of course, Elon was there, as we saw. And then he put out a stupid, strange video, 30-second thing, just saying he brought the greatest CEOs in the world, and they're all pitching deals to Xi, and he thinks they were quite successful. I mean, is that why he went? Because Elon can fly himself over there, even by rocket if he wants to. But why are you flying over there on Air Force One to make deals for yourself? It's not helping us at all.
No, it's not. You brought your son and daughter-in-law. I mean, the fuck is Laura Trump doing there? She's going to sing, perform her horrible version of "I Won't Back Down"
to make Tom Petty roll over in his grave.
Again.
Eric said, "I'm just with my dad." You know, now they want to play the dad card, but you know, it's all business. They just want to compare it to Hunter Biden, who probably has $1 million, whereas Eric went from 40 million to about 400 million. They're just grifting all along, and it's okay. And we see these secretaries going into these meetings with our Congress and still talking about Biden. Oh, yeah. Under HUD, we had the HUD guy out there. She's like, "Can you please stop talking about Biden?" Well, we had 730,000 homeless people, and they put in the most money ever to try and help them. And where did it get us? We have a new plan. Well, what's the new plan? Well, Biden did this, and Biden's administration did that. And she's like, "You've been in this job over a year. Like, just tell us your plan. Like, I get it. Okay, you can have that point. But what are you doing? How long? We're going to go 3 years of blaming the guy that was in office before you, where we had none of these problems, frankly?"
Well, we have the concept of a plan.
Oh, well, he never got to the plan. So you're probably right.
No, well, the plan is to fucking build these labor camps and round them all up. That's the plan. That's the part they don't want to say out loud. They want to concentrate them in a camp.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And then, you know, obviously these data centers are a real suck on our resources. But you have guys like Kevin O'Leary, who's building the one that's in Utah that we talked about the other day, twice as big as Manhattan. And he just says it's going to create millions of jobs. But when asked what kind of jobs and in what field, because you're telling me that AI is going to take over accounting and financial planning and all kinds of jobs that people currently have, what are these new magic jobs everybody's going to be doing based on your AI theories? I mean, it just makes no sense.
Yeah, and what are the people doing these jobs currently going to do?
Be fired and left.
Do you have a plan for that? You know, when you're fired, you just like poof, evaporate into a puff of smoke and that's it? Everybody's problem solved? Again, these people don't care. And maybe the day is going to come when AI replaces all the CEOs too.
Yes, the AI will be running the show. Okay, what do I need you for?
AI knows where you live.
Well, and to his point, he says, "Oh, robots will be fighting robots. That'll be the new war." It's like, just stop. Like, it's like you guys aren't even thinking through this whole process, and it's dangerous.
It's really dangerous because, you know what? Anytime you're sending robots after robots, maybe you're going to decide that maybe, you know what, those protesters will send those robots out after them.
Well, listen, your own government's coming for you if you support anybody that's different. That's that's a new rule to come out and lock people up for, because
Oh yeah. Listen,
use of
freedom of speech, freedom of the press are all under the gun right now. And if you're not horrified by this, you really should be.
yeah, and the press is failing us as it is because they're corporate owned, and they're going to tell us the message that their masters want us to know, which is a little scary that we're finding less and less independent press. Again, I feel like the Europeans are just barely hanging on, waiting for us to stand up as a nation and do something with all this grifting going on. I mean, we had Michael Dell, as we talked about in the past, he gave $6.25 billion to these kids startup accounts, if you recall, $1,000, made a big display in the White House, blah, blah, blah. Trump in February had bought 5 million shares of Dell. On top of that, 2 weeks later, he bought more shares. And then a week later, he bought more shares and more shares. My point is, by May, he's giving his speeches and saying, hey, go out and buy some Dell computers. You know, they're great. It's just all his weaving. And this is a grift. I invested, I have, 7 million shares. Well, the stock went up that day that he talks, because that's what happens. And they just manipulate the market.
He's been doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, and and working with Michael Dell, it's just super suspicious. But there's case after case of this. Trump appointed the former head of GEO Group to be the acting director of ICE. Well, GEO Group was number one in ICE contracts.
Private prisons, feeding people inedible food, horrible conditions, abuse, torture. I mean, all this shit. Yeah, these are the people bringing it to you and making a tidy profit off of it.
$2 billion in contracts with ICE. So, he knows the process. They stand to make huge profits putting people in jail, to your point, locking people up. We've got the facilities. Get out of line. We've got the incinerators now, too.
Oh, yeah.
Great. And as this rolls out, the House yesterday approved Corca, which is a bill that grants ICE and the Department of Homeland Security sweeping new power to collect American citizens' personal information under the guise of combating retail fraud.
What the fuck does that even mean, retail fraud? Shoplifting? We know where you live, so in case you think about shoplifting, I don't understand that at all.
It just gives them more power to look into your stuff and then, be able to do what they want. I will mention that Alligator Alcatraz is closing. Florida will not be getting any of that money back. It did cost $1 million a day to run, and all they did was harm people that were not criminals. So maybe that's a positive, but not enough.
Well, and how many of those people are never coming back?
Yeah, good point. They shipped off that one woman to the Congo, and the courts, told them that they had to bring her back. Like, you can't just ship somebody off that didn't do anything to the Congo.
I know, but will they? That's the thing. Do they even obey the courts?
Yeah, that is a real problem. And we talked about this Tuesday. We either have laws for everybody or we don't. And if we don't, then we have a serious problem. And I feel like we have a serious problem.
It's a very serious problem. I mean, we are definitely becoming an authoritarian country. We're being ruled by the elite, who are not that elite. They're just wealthy and power hungry and willing to do whatever it takes and don't give a shit. These are the most un-American, unconstitutional people ever.
Yeah. And he's masked a lot of them at the top, which is really concerning. So today, JD is out talking about fraud and fraudsters and skimmers and whatever else. He's going to put as many flat foots out there as he can to look into these fraudsters. I mean, you sound
flat foots. Is this the 1940s?
That's what I'm saying. You sound like somebody who's extremely dated and you're making stuff up. They want to talk about Medicaid and Medicare. Those programs are going to go bankrupt because of all the money going to fraudsters.
Fraudsters. You know who's a fraudster? Rick Scott. You know who committed Medicare fraud? Rick Scott. You know who's a criminal? Rick Scott.
And a senator.
Republican.
Exactly right. Meanwhile, they want to get rid of these programs, but if you look at it, people are starting with these new fees and the lack of the Obamacare, essentially, uh, not having insurance. It's just not worth it. Physicians' monthly premiums went up 30%. So let's just say 3,200 a month, and then your deductible is literally $17,000.
I mean, who can afford that? What are you paying that $3,200 a month for when you don't get shit until you've paid $32,000
Yeah.
or what was it, $17,000? Yeah.
$17,000. So you're paying $3,200 a month just in case something catastrophic happens. You'll be limited at up to $17,000. Then they'll start taking a portion of the cost. But you know how much cancer drugs are. You know how much anything that is useful and actually works is expensive, and that's where your fraud's coming in. What they charge for certain drugs that you can get overseas for a normal amount of money. Here,
Yeah.
we just gouge as much as we can, and maybe only those that can afford it deserve it, type of thing. And then you get into the tier system of who's worthy of having healthcare. To that point, fucking Giuliani was almost dead. We were supposed to thank him. He went into the funds the medical stuff that they tried to give to the 9/11 firemen and policemen and emergency people. Finally, he got a good use for it. Now he was using it. Now he's coming out and he's like, I don't know if I saw, Jesus, but not sure if I was going up to heaven. But well, he's amazingly fine right now, doing great. I mean, it's like Trump with COVID. They gave him the magic elixir because he was the guy in that seat, and he thought he was fucking Superman, and he's still at it. He may have a giant wide gate so he doesn't fall down when he's talking to Xi. He may talk nonsense and repeat the same lackluster, boring stories, but here we are. He's in the chair, so he's controlling everything, essentially.
Yeah, that is just terrifying and horrifying and maddening and frustrating and every other word that you can think of.
But we're going to keep going after the fraudsters because that's where it's at. And then the crowd was pretty underwhelming for JD. I think he's universally disliked by many.
Oh, yeah. The least charismatic person ever.
Yeah, and kind of a jerk. Yeah, so I don't know. The Senate did come out and vote that if we go through another government shutdown, they will not be paid, which seems like a no-brainer. Why should they? They're only working 145 days a year anyway. Mike Johnson, hard at work, working 23 hours a day when they are working. So I thought that was a positive. I think that was 99-0. They had a vote on the Iran war act as far as not allowing Trump to just do it at whim. That lost by one vote, 49-50.
Thanks, Fetterman.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you guess who fucked that up? Fetterman. Yeah, because he and they showed his picture and he's got a menorah in the background. Really, all you need to know. Huge supporter of Israel. We're losing at home. They have universal health care. They have free education. We don't. So maybe look closer to home.
Yeah. How about that? Do your job.
Yeah. We had been talking about Black Bear Sports, how they had taken over a lot of the private rinks and then didn't let people use Live Barn or record on their own phones or cameras. You had to pay them, if you recall. The CEO was buying up rinks and then creating teams for his own son's advancement, more or less. The house kids, where are you going, guys? You're done. You can have some shitty ice time if you want. You can have 10 o'clock on a weeknight if you're a fifth grader.
Yeah.
And they just drove these kids out of the sport. But there is a federal bill that's coming up that would ban private equity from investing in youth sports, targeting the culture practices like consolidation, bundling, and state-of-play stuff. Black Bear Sports was mentioned many times. They think they're doing people a favor. They're not at all. So I think keeping the uber wealthy out of running youth sports is probably a good start. Especially,
I would say so.
So hopefully that will continue. Any kind of pushback against these guys that think they can do anything would be great. I did want to talk about some of the numbers that are coming out, because all of this just comes down to that. The cost of living is up 106% since 2001. I know that's 25 years, but that is a giant percentage.
It is.
Low income, and we heard about how great the economy is doing because people are charging like crazy. It's on fire.
Oh, it's on fire, all right, but not in a good way, that's for sure.
Low income Americans are maxing out their credit cards at a record pace. So I guess he's right about that. Generally, though, you're paying your bills with that. Maybe not the best idea because you're not covering your nut anyway.
No, but that's what happens when people get desperate, and people are getting desperate now. I mean, you've got to put gas in your car to get to work. You've got to put food on the table. You've got to pay your daycare bill. I mean, all of these things,
every day. Even if I don't leave my house, I'm still paying my homeowner's insurance. You can take that down to a $2 a day, whatever it is, but you're paying daily. So U.S. credit card delinquency rates hit 13.1%, highest since 2011. And that was after coming through the financial crash eventually, or obviously. These are 90 days. Student loan delinquency surged to 10%, highest since 2020. Auto loan delinquencies posted their all-time record at 5.6%. Grocery prices in the U.S. soared the fastest in April than any month in 4 years. And they said from frankfurters to tomatoes, buddy. Man. So covers pretty much everything. And then the bottom line is the U.S. dollar's lost 30% of its purchasing power in the last 6 years. So
wow,
your $100 is really worth 70. And, our stacks are getting smaller, whereas if you invested in Dell, you're doing better.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe drones. I don't know. What else?
Maybe drones, yeah.
They did ask, because we talked the other day about this, and I'm only saying it because of the cronyism, but the guy that's doing the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, they asked Burgum if he knew the guy. He said he didn't, whereas Trump said he did, and then he didn't know him, and then the Interior Department did it. Well, he's the head of the Interior Department, and they're all claiming they don't know anything. But they did cut the guy a check for $13.1 million, and we're paying for it. Again, we're paying for it. And he's like, oh, the last administration left us with so many, these water fountains around town aren't working. And they're like, that's your priority? The fountains? He's like, well, I think we can all agree that you would want your capital to be a beautiful place. Okay, I guess the fountains do make it pretty, but you could also just go to Vegas if you wanted to see that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally could.
It's just kind of crazy what the priorities are with this guy. And there was no answer for it, and it was no bid. And he said, oh, you're making it sound like there's something nefarious to this. You think?
Yeah, right?
And you can't even answer the question. So maybe it is. And maybe it's not on you, but it's your department. You're the head of the department.
That's a dumb question. You're a dumb person.
Democrat. That's, Trump was talking about groceries in China again. It's kind of a quaint word, but it means what it sounds like. Groceries. Like, God, this guy again? It's unbelievable. Man.
Yeah.
So we have all these unserious people that are kind of handling our business. And then we see that the head of the FDA is a 38-year-old gentleman who's Donnie Jr.'s turkey hunting buddy. Doesn't really have
and not a doctor.
What is it?
By the way, not a doctor.
Yeah, well, this is true. We don't have a Surgeon General currently. We don't have a head of the CDC, essentially. Meanwhile, all of this is going on while the Hantavirus is really becoming a thing.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I don't know, but the CDC did announce that these cruise ship passengers do not have to quarantine. They can go out in public, have at it. But I will note that 40% of the Hantavirus infections are fatal. 40%. I also saw a statistic where if you do get it and you survive, which is great, you're in that 60%, you're still likely to die in the next 5 years due to other complications. I mean, it's some serious shit. And other countries are being pretty serious about it. And then I see here where people were scrubbing down the steps and stuff where the people got off the plane. They're in hazmat suits. And then this guy comes walking in the background, just like some guy and wearing nothing, just pants and a shirt. And they're like, oh, you see, this guy stumbled onto it while they're faking this, filming of the cleaning. Like, we can't agree on anything, really.
Oh, I know.
I mean, they made this fake video of the tarmac. Like, geez, man, like,
some of these people are so far down the rabbit hole.
Muddy the waters just enough, and you got this going. So the no quarantine is kind of worrisome. It is definitely. The staff of the CDC hired 97 people. They went from 3 to 100 in just a few days because they're trying to avoid this turning into a COVID situation where all of a sudden you're going to have these extreme measures. But if you recall, during COVID, Trump said, hey, if I'd have kept those people on the cruise ship, my numbers would be amazing. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Until it wasn't.
Yeah, it's just going to go away.
Yeah, it's
just
like
disappear.
That by Easter. Let's all go to church.
Yeah.
That'll work. I mean, ridiculous. And some of the worst times, I might add, too. The whole thing, I mean, and again, they just keep kicking in the wrong doors. Dr. Oz was talking with JD about no more new hospice or home health care facilities. They're all fraudsters.
Dude, that's so cruel. People rely on that. I mean, that helps people, keep people comfortable at the end of their lives. It gives them some dignity. I mean, what the fuck? What do these people expect you to do if you're dying? Especially if maybe you don't have family, maybe you don't have someone with you.
And with climate change, I can't just put you on a piece of ice and send you out to the sea.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy.
That plan doesn't work anymore.
No. And again, under the context of fraudsters, they take money and they kick it up to the next fraudster in California. And then this is how they work. Then they leave California, they move to Nevada, then they move to Texas. And then it's like, you're just creating this narrative that's just made up. I don't think anybody chooses to scam on people in hospice. It seems, I'm sure there's some outliers, but give me a break. It's like a horrible experience. Most people don't even want to accept it, frankly, because it's so harsh to the reality that you're dying. Your loved one's going away. Would you like them peacefully at home, or do you want to say goodbye to them on the gurney in the hospital bed?
Oh, I know.
Either way.
Yeah, and do you want them comfortable, palliative care, or do you want them just writhing in agony and maybe running up another huge hospital bill? Hey, that sounds like a good plan.
I remember picking you up after a routine procedure, and I think they asked if you wanted to use the bathroom before you left or something, and you were on the clock, so you were like, nah. I already spent $200 on that ibuprofen you gave me an hour ago. So I'm leaving.
Yeah, we're out of here.
So to your point, you're right on the money. I mean, it's everything's expensive. And maybe, again, that's where the fraud comes in. Why am I paying that much for simple medication that I could have brought myself, essentially? So I don't know. None of it makes sense to me. The cruelty is the part, as you always say. I could see that. But I guess we'll see where this whole healthcare thing goes, because we don't seem to be getting any healthier necessarily. The food that they're feeding us. The other day, we talked about all the fake stuff. Those wings, WYGNZ. I asked for wings. Yeah, that's what you got. You got wings.
See, wings.
Chicken in the shape of a wing. Doesn't that count?
Yeah.
Kind of gross. So we don't even know what we're eating. To that point, I did want to say that wheat was the next thing on my list. Wheat prices were exploding yesterday. The USDA, they figure at least 8 million acres of hard red wheat will be abandoned in the Great Plains. That's 37% of the planted acreage of wheat will go away. It's the smallest wheat crop since 1972. We had a lot less people in this country in 1972, I might add. On top of the record low planted acreage heading into the season, the lowest planting since 1919. I mean,
Holy
we're
shit.
going back and making some history, boy. And you know, Trump's not worried about the straits. Nobody cares, whatever. But the global supplies are tightening. Um, you know, they say the same thing with Iran. Oh, well, we can't let them get a bomb. God forbid. You know, they're so far away. But what if it happened here? It's the same thing with oil prices. Like, oh, well, we don't need it. We have so much oil here. Uh, we all live on the same planet. It's a global economy. It affects everyone.
Hmm.
Hello.
And we're going to take our oil and sell it.
That's right, because I'm making more money and I get something for that, right?
Oh, yeah. That's what Stalin did during the famine he created in Ukraine back in the 30s. They took all that wheat and he sold it abroad to fund his modernization program, his industrialization program. And people starved. Millions of people starved in Ukraine. A man created famine. And it's the same thing that they're doing here with oil. We're going to have higher gas prices. People are going to lose their jobs. I mean, this is just a shit show, and it's just beginning.
Yeah, I think you're right about that part, which is terrifying. Diesel yesterday in Ohio was over $6 a gallon. To your point with wheat, bread, pasta, baked goods, processed foods are all going to climb in cost.
Well,
Uh,
and what do people eat when they're cutting costs? They eat pasta, they eat
Pasta.
bread, they eat noodles.
Let's continue on. Pressure on livestock feed because of wheat, corn, whatever, will push up meat and dairy prices. Beef's already off the table. That ain't happening anyway.
Yeah.
But now dairy, uh, yeah, I don't know. I guess you're not going to have strong bones either. But you're right. It's only the beginning because we're not really dealing with the reality of what's happening. We're
No.
not seeing it firsthand necessarily, other than gas prices. And once a month, when you get your energy bill, you're maybe starting to notice. But it's just not sinking in with enough people to create that pushback, which is kind of what we need.
Yeah, and it's just again, it comes back to the fact that we just can't seem to get together and agree on some basic facts.
Facts. That's the toughest part. You're absolutely right. Um, I mean, again, the auto industry is pulling back from EVs because Trump didn't like the electric vehicle. Uh, Honda posted their first loss since 1955 based on the electric car, essentially.
Wow.
That's not a thing that happens. Honda's very reputable. They put out a nice product. It's something people drive for a decade plus.
Mhm.
45, 70 years, they're going to post a loss based on our short-sightedness that we hate electric cars. Drill, baby, drill. It's all about that. Pollute the environment as best you can. Come on. At the same time, U.S. filings for jobless benefits rose, and they're calling the job market low hire, low fire. Right? Pretty catchy.
What does that mean?
Well, it means they're not hiring very many people, but they're also not firing very many people because you have this little group of people that are going to get to work, and that's about it.
So yeah, probably taking a pay cut and doing twice as much work.
That's right. Somebody's got to do it. I did see an interesting fact that alcohol usage of high schoolers 50 years ago was at about 92%. 50 years ago. Well, I was still pretty young. But it was kind of a rite of passage, right? Sneak dad's beers out. I mean, you had a birthday party at age 3 or 4 and got in.
I think I was like 5 or 6, but yeah.
Whatever. Very popular. Today, that percentage is at 47%. Kids just aren't doing it in high school. Probably doing better drugs. I don't know.
Busy doing weed and vaping.
Yeah, probably so. And that pushes alcohol to the curb. Maybe they're doing Willie's tonics. I don't know. If you want to drink something to be social at parties, but it's kind of striking. I don't know what that does for the, the breweries and such. I guess you're always going to have your niche, but a little surprising. And it's positive that these kids aren't getting blackout drunk in high school, but it's also a little bit strange that it's such a low percentage compared to what it was.
Well, yeah, that is kind of weird, but I don't know. I'm sure they're onto something else instead that, like you said, is probably better.
Maybe so. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's we could go on about the hurting that's going to be coming, and we can talk about oil prices, which we see every time we gas up, and our energy costs. But I think the whole point is that we don't have any real leadership that's looking out for the masses. We go to China because we're hoping we can put an end to this war, which, if we can stop manipulating the market by saying we're at a ceasefire, we're not at a ceasefire. I get it. They're making money. You can make your money. But as you've always said, like, Putin knows enough to keep the checks rolling. The Social Security checks keep coming in Russia. Basic foundation. You're stealing from everybody. People are falling out of ninth floor building windows, but you take care of the masses essentially, just enough. Let's not spoil
Just enough.
anybody.
Yeah, nothing too great, but
But we're not
just
even
enough.
getting that.
No,
I
we're
mean, the
not.
Affordable Care Act started it. You have a woman's right to choose, gone. So you lose bodily autonomy. Then they say that we're under birth rated, we need more kids. But you're not willing to do anything for the masses of people that have the kids. I'm not worried
No.
about the guy with his 7 kids that lives in Fancy Town. Not a problem. Probably inherited it. Probably a fraudster or a huckster. I don't know.
Better call a Flatfoot and have him investigated. Jesus.
Exactly. So, but you got to take care of people. That's what makes the system work. We all have the opportunity. We've always said this. These people aren't making that kind of money if you don't live in a society with rules and laws. And I feel like we're losing that. People aren't being held accountable. People are getting away with pedophilia. People are getting away with abusing others in general, legal or otherwise. Money, fill in the blank. The grift is real, but it's mainly at the top, and they're blaming the bottom people who are struggling to get by with their 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah, but that's who they want to blame while they're stealing with both hands.
Yeah, so I don't know how you write that cruise ship. I know it takes time. I know it's not an easy snap your fingers type of thing. But as you see these statistics of what costs are going to be, we're still throwing all this stuff into AI instead of our fresh water. I see things in the European press about water shortages, running out of water. It's not infinite. We don't have an endless supply, even though Trump thinks you can turn on the spigots from the sky or you can go into the ocean and have all you want. It's just not how it works.
That's not how it works. No.
So it's kind of dangerous when Nestle owns like spring water, place, whatever. It's just all so much double speak and nonsense that it's really hard to stay focused other than getting up, going to the job you hate. Now they want you to work there till you're 70, because if you're not, then what kind of American are you? Lazy.
Yeah, lazy bastard.
You're lucky to get sick pay, and it's just not sustainable for the masses.
No.
So
And you have Congress taking 2/3 of the year off, getting paid, gold-plated healthcare. While the masses, the rest of us, get nothing.
Well, and after the Affordable Care Act went away, people just got off insurance. I mean, you don't have to have it. You don't have to file showing that you have healthcare anymore. And Joe Sixpack's not going to do it. It's too damn expensive. And
It's too damn expensive. I'll take my chances, they say.
I'll put some duct tape on it if I have to, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So I don't know. I don't want to continue down that path, but it is concerning when you look at our food sources, our water sources, our energy sources, and all we have are these 30 amazing CEOs, best in the world, building these data centers or surveillance centers, whatever you want to call them, along with ICE running these camps to concentrate people that don't fit the lifestyle of Trumpy pair. I don't know, one day at a time, but need to really start paying attention because these policies are not helping the guy that has to go to work every day.
No, they are reaching in your pocket and squeezing your balls while they're there. That's basically what's going on here. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I'll leave it at that because I'm not sure. I will jump to a happy ending of the Pirates won today, 7-2. Again, they took another series, 2 out of 3 from Colorado. They look pretty good. If they can figure out some things like managing and getting another middle reliever or 2, I think they have a real shot. I mean, Skeens the other night was lights out. And if they had a right fielder that could catch, Brian Reynolds I love, but he's a better DH, maybe right field. but he wasn't able to catch the ball for the no-hitter. Cruz had to try and hustle over to get it from center field, but Skeens is putting up numbers that nobody's ever seen before. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Really neat to see, though. So go Buccos. That's a positive. The
He's
NHL
coming to town next week.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that I don't know. We talked about this. I'm not sure any of those days work for us, but it'd be kind of neat to see the Pirates. Maybe one time this summer.
Yeah, because I don't think any of those days work for us, sadly.
I'm pretty sure you're right. NHL playoffs are still going. That's been pretty exciting. Colorado looks really good. What else you got? Anything?
Let's see. Hey, you got Steeler minicamp. That's getting started. Some of the OTAs, phase 2.
All right. I saw a bunch of people. They're like, I don't give a crap about the Steelers right now. Okay. It's too early. But you're right. I've seen a ton of stuff on that first round pick. I saw a bunch of stuff on the kid from Iowa with their long hair that they love. I mean, like,
oh, the lineman. Yeah, that kid's they're gonna love that kid.
Yeah, they just don't think right away, and they kind of feel like McCormick's getting overlooked for the season that he had at guard last year that nobody remembers because he was so effective. All these guys are super at this point. Let's see when the pads come on. We got to get to July, and we still got to be excited about Pirate baseball, at least until then.
Well, yeah, if we can keep them both going, that'd be great.
All right. Well, that's my happy ending. I'm going to try and stay positive. But to the point of what we talked about all program, I mean, look around. It's getting rough, right down to your voting rights. We're seeing how they're disenfranchising people. That affects all of us. Oh, sure, it's the black people in the South right now, but that's all of us. Are you kidding me? Like, give me a break. If you're in a red state and you don't toe the line, then maybe you don't get to vote either. So be smart and pay attention to other people's struggles as well, because they could soon be yours.
It's true. Yeah, they're not just going to stop with one group.
Hell no. And none of us are in that club, as we talked about. So
no.
Anyway, I think the most positive thing they said was learn how to grow your own food. It's time.
Yeah.
Fruits and vegetables, you can survive. So be a good place to start. I'm going to look into it myself.
I think it's a good idea.
I grow tomatoes every year. I get like 6. I would starve.
I know. I don't really get much sunshine in my yard.
Well, you're going to have to look for a plot somewhere.
Maybe
a community garden. That would
maybe do
cool.
a little homesteading.
Doesn't sound like you at all. Okay, just come over to my house. Jeez.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown's tomato plant.
We'll work for food.
I'll take it. Well, Billy, I appreciate your time today. Sorry to ramble on at the end. I just like trying to wrap my mind around all this. Is not.
Yeah, no, it's hard to do. It's hard to believe this is where we are, and it's only been a year. It's just,
oh my God,
this is insane.
Yes.
This is
Blame
like
Biden.
dream. It's Biden's fault. All Biden's fault.
All of it. Well, Billy, I hope you get to enjoy the rest of this day, and I do appreciate your time as always.
Oh, you too, buddy. Nice job.
Thank you very much, and we'll talk later on. All right, sounds good, buddy. All right, thanks again, and have a good day.
You too.
All right, see ya.